Okay, so today we have a different session, and today we are going to be discussing about a concept called PhoneGap. Okay, so and the latest version of the PhoneGap is the name of Cordova, Cordova framework. Okay, so let's come to PhoneGap or Cordova framework. What is this framework, and why we need to use this framework in iOS development? And so Cordova is actually a JavaScript framework, a JavaScript based framework.
Okay.
A JavaScript based framework used to develop a cross domain application development using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. That's it. So, Cordova framework is a JavaScript framework based framework used to develop a cross domain mobile application development. A cross domain mobile application development using HTML, CSS, JavaScript. See, actually, the mobile development in two different ways, right? The mobile development is having a two different ways. One is the native application development. One is the native application development. And come to the second one. This is called the cross-domain application development. One is the native application development. Second one is the cross-domain application development. Okay. So what is the native apps development? We are doing this already. If you want to develop an iOS application, you have to install a software called Xcode, and you have to install this Xcode in the Mac OS. All this particular environment required, right? And you have to install Objective-C. You have to work with Objective-C, or we have to work with the Swift language and all. First, suppose if you want to develop an Android application, we have to go with the Android Studio, and we need to go for any operating system like Windows, Mac, Linux. See, Android is going to be supporting for any operating system installation. Then after, you have to go with the programming, basic Java, core Java something. So this is called native application development. If you want to develop a mobile application development, you have to go with the different environment and different programming languages and all. But come to the second category, cross-domain application development. Cross-domain, what is the cross-domain? In the name only there. So once you develop an application using with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, you can deploy this particular application for different domains like iOS, Android, BlackBerry. So this is called a mobile domain. iOS is a mobile domain, Android is a mobile domain, BlackBerry is a mobile domain. At the same time, Windows mobile application. Windows mobile is a different mobile domain. If you create application using this particular technologies, you can deploy into any different mobile domains like this. See, for that we have to use a framework. For that we have to use a framework called Cordova. And the old name of the Cordova is PhoneGap. The old version, old name of the Cordova is a PhoneGap. Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay, so I will tell you how to use this HTML, CSS, and JS using with Cordova, and how to deploy for this iOS, Android, BlackBerry, Windows Mobile, and all. So, for basic understand, first we have to go with the Cordova. Apache Cordova official website. This is the official website of Apache Cordova. Yes, this is the official website of Apache Cordova. Apache Cordova mobile apps using HTML, CSS, and JS target multiple platforms with one code base. Free open source. This is what a free open source, and you can develop application for all these particular platforms like Android, iOS, BlackBerry, Windows, and all at the same time.
Okay.
See, writing code once and deploying to multiple devices is the advantage of Cordova.
Okay.
Writing code once and deploying to the different devices is the advantage of Cordova. And here, specific documentation available: how to write the code, and how to create app, and how to install in the different devices, and what are the frameworks available. And for each and everything, they had the clear cut information, and they given a simple architecture of Cordova. So here, just look into the architecture of Cordova, how Cordova is working. See, basically, in our iPhone application, if you want to run an application, it is going to be installing in your device, right?
Yes.
So here also, this Cordova application also installing in your device, but it will run in the web view. See, web view. So what is the concept of web view? Web view is actually the concept of loading PDFs, HTMLs, and URLs. Right?
Okay.
So here, if you are using a Cordova development, we are writing the code in HTML, CSS, and JS. Basically, HTML is the file we have to load for mobile app.
Okay.
So if you want to load HTML for domain, for this iOS domain, you have to load the web view. Cordova application always runs on web view. That's it. A simple, clear-cut definition. Cordova application or crash domain application always run in your mobile on web view, but it will install in your mobile, starting a web view and running the app, running HTMLs. See, and here this, I just want to explain this. HTML, you have the JS file, you have the CSS file, and you have some resources, images, all these things. So combining all into the web view, rendering into web view, and there are some Cordova plugins available. Like for suppose I want to work with the camera. I want to work with the camera in my Cordova application or in my crash domain application. Actually, the camera is the feature of iOS, right? So we have to write UI image picker controller in iOS, and we have to write some other class for Android, some other framework for BlackBerry. See, for every domain there is a separate functionality, separate class available to pick a camera and to use a camera.
Yes.
But come to the Cordova application or crash domain application, user interfaces, designs, all the things will HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, no problem. But come to the device feature. If I want to work with the device feature like a camera, see, if I want to write a device feature like a camera, it will be support. It need to be support for all the domains like iOS, Android, BlackBerry. No. So then I need to write a plugin for Cordova.
Okay.
See, there are different plugins like available in Cordova. See, one by one: accelerometer, camera, device, contacts, geolocation, media, network, storage, and all. So combining HTML, CSS, and JS, these particular files with the plugins, with customized plugins or existing plugins, and install finally your application to the different device, and final device.
Okay.
The concept is very simple. Uh, Cross-domain mobile application with a Cordova. The application actually runs on WebView. Why? Because all these are HTML files.
Yeah.
And one more thing, in WebView, if I want to access the camera device feature, in WebView, if I click on any button I want to access the camera, then I need to go with the Cordova plugins, installed Cordova plugins.
Okay.
Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay, so this is a basic cross-domain mobile application development. And uh, let's get understand what are the differences between the native application development and cross-domain applications. Differences between native app development and cross-domain app development. So we have to understand this difference between native app and cross-domain app. See, basically, first I want to write a native application development, native app development. What is the okay? Let's get some differences if I can find in Google.
Okay.
1 second.
Sure.
Yes. So web versus native versus hybrid. Yeah. So he's giving clearly what is the
Okay.
advantages using with the native development and what are the advantages using with the web development somebody is giving.
Sure. Okay.
Okay, so native application development advantages. Besides enjoying highest performance, native apps can access the accelerometer, GPS, camera, contact list, network connections on the screen with the gestures. And native apps continue to be functional when the device is in offline also.
Okay.
An intimate association with the device operating system, a native app seamlessly fits in the UI on UX. And one more thing is performance. Performance wise, a native application is always good. So application
Okay.
performance is well and good. in a native domain development. Why? Because they had their own frameworks, they had their own libraries available with the native, and they had a good interfaces, good user interfaces available with the classes like a label, button, image view, and all.
Yes.
And they had the nice features with the native app and all. And come to the web-based development advantages. Web apps are built on standardized technologies like JavaScript, HTML, and CSS.
Yeah.
See, in our web apps, we have to compromise with the user interfaces actually. Sometimes maybe we cannot able to pick the same interface like a native development.
Okay.
Sometimes we have to make a compromise with this. Sometimes you have to go with the compromise for quality of application, so running speed of application. Sometimes you have to go with the compromise of device features. Maybe some all the features actually working for a cross domain also, but sometimes some features will not work in the cross domain application development.
Okay.
Okay, so and the developing debugging tools, this is inexpensive. Development and debugging tools. See what the important thing here is. See, if I want to test a native application, very simple, right? You connect the device and deploy the app into the device and test. And where is the
Yes.
problem? Check once or two times and just change the problem and resolve the issue and develop very fast.
Yes.
But whenever you come into the crash domain application, so if the issue come in iOS and the same issue is not coming in Android. See, I want to first test the application in both SDKs. iOS SDK I want to test, Android SDK I want to test, and BlackBerry SDK I want to test. Every SDK, first of all, application need to be tested.
Yes.
So for testing, it is taking so much time. After testing, you are finding any issue. First of all, if you're not finding issue in Android, BlackBerry, in Windows, but you're finding the issue in iOS, some type of issue, Getcher is not working, button is not properly fitting, a menu is not working, something like. So then our library is not working, camera is not calling. In Android, BlackBerry, in other devices, camera is working fine, but in iOS, camera is not working. So I have to replace the framework again, some other framework, and I have to test again on all the devices till that particular functionality need to be work for all the devices.
Yeah.
So when it is working fine, then we will get another user interface issue, something like that. So this is what a debugging process is very critical in web-based development. This sort of cross-domain application development. Basically, people are choosing for small scales applications. People are choosing a web-based development. It was cross-domain application development. Large scale applications are the games. Large scale applications are games. People are choosing a native development. They will not go with the cross-domain. Larger scale application means that application actually making money in so much, and that application need to have the so many clients. May require the lakhs of millions of clients required in the future. So in that particular situations, we will get a bad reviews on that sometime. So we cannot go with the cross domain for that. So if you are expecting a good reviews in the user interface and good reviews in the development and all, go with the native development. Okay. So whenever we start application, we have to tell them, we have to tell our some managers and all. So there are two different domains available to develop a mobile app. Actually, also we are also getting so many applications from the clients in a cross domain also nowadays,
Okay.
not only native domain. But they will ask actually, so which is the good one, which platform is the good one. So why I can go for cross domain, why I can go for native domain and all. They'll raise so many questions. So we have to tell them, we have to give the clarity on that part. Okay, so let's move. let's move with the development now. So what is the importance of this particular? So I'll just use this for your document. So I'll save this document. Okay, now we'll go start a first application with the PhoneGap. If you want to develop a PhoneGap application, first of all, if you are using a Mac system, you have to ready with the all SDKs in a Mac.
Okay.
If I want to develop a PhoneGap application, first of all, I have to install all the domains in my system. Suppose I want to work an application in a Mac system. I have the Mac OS. Suppose if you have the Mac OS, okay, you can go for iOS SDK installation inside Mac, and you can go for Android SDK installation inside your Mac, and you can go for BlackBerry SDK also in your Mac, but you cannot go for Windows SDK.
Okay.
For Windows SDK, you have to use a Windows machine, so Mac OS will not work for that.
Okay.
Definitely Windows OS is required for Windows SDK installation. So that's why
Okay.
we have to pick a Windows OS again, Windows machine again, and you have to install the Windows SDK, and you have to test. For suppose you have the Windows machine, you will install Windows SDK, you will install Android SDK, no problem, and you will install other SDKs, no issues. But the problem with here what?
iOS.
Yes, correct. Problem with iOS. So for problem with iOS, we have to go with the again Mac system. Only for iOS, we have to go with the Mac. Only for
Okay.
Windows, we have to go with the here. Problem with Windows SDK. So whenever you have the two different operating systems like a Windows and Mac, so you have to choose the proper one, which is the priority of your application. Your application is only for iOS and Android, you can go for Mac, no issues.
Okay.
Let's start our first application using with the PhoneGap and Cordova. Okay, so first of all, if you want to install Cordova in your Mac machine, first we need to have the Node.js installed. There are some requirements available. Install Cordova in Mac. See, actually, Cordova is actually built on Node.js framework. So that's why first we need to, the first very important step. First we need to install Node.js in Mac. Second thing, install iOS. Okay, before that, install Cordova framework. If you want to install this Cordova framework, there is a simple command line. See, Cordova is actually working with the command line. Cordova will not work with button clicks and all.
Okay.
Okay, so let's go with the Cordova basic documentation and come down. Installing Cordova, very important. First point is available here. How to install a Cordova is giving a clear. Installing Cordova is giving a simple clear command line. For installing a Cordova, we have to go with the command line and first install the Node.js, then follow the platform guides to install additional developments and open the command line prompt. Open the command line prompt and type npm install space g space Cordova command.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the only command we have to use. So if it is a Mac system, again, this is actually for Windows they are giving.
Okay.
In Mac, you have to give sudo space npm space. So this is a command.
Okay.
In Mac, this is a command. In Windows, this is a command. So we have to use this command for installation of Cordova. And before that, make sure that you have to install the Node.js or not.
Okay.
First step is install Node.js in Mac. Second step is install Cordova framework. That's it.
Okay.
Okay. So I already installed Cordova library in my system.
Okay.
If you want to check, open the terminal. Terminal is our command line actually. For Mac,
Okay.
terminal is a command line, CMD.
Yeah.
So inside this command line, first check Cordova version. Cordova space version. So I'm checking my Cordova version. I'm checking my Cordova version. Already I installed Cordova, so that's why I'm getting 6.1.0. 6.1.0 is my Cordova version already installed in my system.
Yeah.
So if you don't have installed this Cordova, first you install Node.js and then after you have to install the Cordova from that particular command.
Okay.
So installing Node.js is very simple. Installing Node.js will be a simple download. Node.js will download direct button with the direct button. Node.js will download with the direct button. See this, recommended for users. So
Okay.
you have to click on this. Whenever you click on this, Node.js will download for you. And after that, just double click on that. It will install in your Mac.
Okay.
So once you install Node.js, then you have to go with this command. What the command we are
Yeah.
writing? Sudo space
Okay.
npm space, this one.
Okay.
So whenever you write this particular command, okay, I'm just copying this, opening the terminal and typing the sudo space npm space install space manage space Cordova. Okay, just enter on this. Maybe it is asking me password of a system.
Okay.
So I'm entering the password. It is trying to fetching the new version of Cordova if it is available.
Okay. Okay. So looking on the online repository.
Correct. See, for Cordova, PhoneGap, everything work with online repositories.
Yeah.
You heard about this anywhere? Cordova or PhoneGap?
No, Srinivas.
No, not yet.
First time.
No. First time.
No.
Yeah.
Huge requirements on this.
Okay.
It's the new and people doesn't know about properly about this. Nowadays, this is having huge requirements.
Okay.
Every native mobile developer must need to know about Cordova.
Okay.
They had requirements. Maybe in future you people also require this. Again, you can you can contact me, no problem.
Okay. Okay.
Sure.
Sure, Srinivas.
Yeah. In future, maybe you people also required about Cordova, cross domain development.
Okay.
So that
Okay.
time we will have the session on this. Okay.
Sure. Sure.
This will take 20 days
20 days. Okay.
to cover all the things.
Okay.
And basic knowledge for Cordova development is HTML, CSS, and jQuery.
Okay.
We have to have a good knowledge in HTML, CSS, jQuery mobile, and all.
Okay.
It's web development. You have to uh, having a good knowledge in web development.
Okay.
Okay, so I installed Cordova, no issues. I already have the Cordova. Now, so I'm checking in the path cd space desktop. Now I'm in desktop. Is it clear?
Yes.
I think you know very good knowledge in command lines. So now
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
giving cd space desktop means I'm just moving for desktop area.
Change
Now,
directory.
yes, correct. So I'm now creating a make directory. So I'm kdir PhoneGap PhoneGap apps. I'm creating a folder PhoneGap apps. Is it correct?
Yes.
cd space PhoneGap apps. So now I'm in a folder called PhoneGap apps. Redirecting to the PhoneGap apps. Okay. Now I want to create an application. Okay, let's go for first create a project. Create a project. This is the command. This is the way for creating the first project in your. Okay. So what the process of creating a project? We have to use the command Cordova space create space your path name. Cordova space create space create space. So okay, let's create a project name is hello world or hello. Just give hello.
Okay.
Cordova space create space hello is my project name. Hello is my project name. Cordova and space and create is the simple command for creating the project. Let's enter on this. So got created a project. You want to check created a project or not. So PhoneGap apps. Inside we created a project called hello. See this? And there is a default folder structure available for this application. So this is not opening Xcode and creating the project. This is everything command line.
Yes.
See a project ready. Hello project is ready.
Yeah.
Inside hello project there is a folder structure like this. Hooks to platforms, plugins and www folder.
Okay.
See platforms nothing but you have the iOS, Android, BlackBerry, Windows and all available here.
Okay.
Come down back. Plugins. All the camera, network, different Cordova plugins we will install here.
Okay.
www. This is the folder. This is the folder actually we are writing the files like HTML, CSS and JS.
Okay.
Where we are writing all the HTML, CSS and JS is www folder.
Okay.
Okay. So actually I cannot build this application. Why? Because I don't have any platform to run. I don't have any mobile specific platform to run this app.
Okay.
See then I just want to do what? I have to add a platform. I have to add a platform there. So this is the code. This is the way you have to add a platform. So first you have to navigate your folder. CD space. What is our folder name? Hello. Is it clear?
Yeah.
So I just navigated into my folder hello. Then we have to write a command Cordova space platform add iOS. See, if you want to add the platform, first iOS SDK ready in your system. Otherwise, we cannot able to create project for that.
Yeah. Export should be there. Yeah.
Yes, code should be there. Yes. So platform added. Cordova space platform space add space Android. I got added Android also. So I'm adding two platforms at the same
Okay.
time. Cordova space platform space add space Android. Two platforms added now. Look into your folder again. See platforms folder. Open platforms folder. Previously this was very empty.
Yeah.
Now this is filled with the two folders, Android folder and iOS folder. Android is having Android project structure. iOS is having iOS project structure with additional tools. See, this is having again www folder.
Yeah.
And again come to Android, again having a www folder. See?
Yes.
Okay, so anyway, there are different www folders available with us. We don't disturb this particular www folders. We have to disturb only the outside www folder, not inside the platform www.
Okay.
We have to go with a www here, and we have to changing the things for this. Okay, let's run iOS application. We created a project now, and we have to build the project first. To build your project, again you have to write a simple command. So running your app or building your app, I have to go with the one more command. Run your app. Build your app. So for building app, we have to write a command, Cordova space build space platform name. Cordova space build space platform name. Okay, so next Cordova space build space platform name. Okay, I want for all platforms, not build only for one platform. If you want to build only for one platform iOS, Cordova space build space iOS. If you want to build your application only for Android, you have to build like this, Cordova space build space Android.
Yeah.
No, I want to build the application for universal, Cordova space build. That's it. See, an application is building.
Yeah.
It will take first time 1 to 2 minutes.
We just have one project right now. That's why we didn't mention the name of the project, like hello.
Hello is right in the.
Oh, so we are CD into hello. That's why we are not mentioning the project name.
Correct.
Oh.
We are in hello only.
Yeah,
Oh.
we are in hello only.
Correct. So build is successful for iOS. Yes, build success for every. Okay, so once you build the app, once you ready the build of your application, then go to your folder where you created a project. So this is our project, right? And
Yes.
go to platforms and go to iOS and run your project. iOS project always run with Xcode only, right?
Yeah.
And we have the simulator ready. See, choose your simulator, run your app, everything fine. So this is now native application, but working with HTML, CSS and JavaScript. No programming Objective-C, no programming Swift and all.
Right.
See, you have the code files in www, HTML, CSS and JS.
Okay.
Splash done.
Yeah.
Yes, this is the first screen. Just they are giving a sample screen like this.
Okay.
Okay, so okay, we'll go for some customization of the code.
Okay.
Okay, somebody developing, somebody giving me. Okay, I'm just copying some files here, www files.
Okay.
So actually we are developing a PhoneGap application. That same application I'm just putting or using. Go to hello, go to www, just paste here, replace all the files. Okay, so I just copied some files here. Now what I want to do is, again I have to build our application. Without having a build, the code is not getting copied in your platforms.
Okay.
So every time you are changing the code, you have to build the app. Cordova build space, this Cordova space build, that's it.
Okay.
See, whatever
So
the
either
changes you do, yeah. Ask.
yeah, so either we can double click that Xcode file, or we can run Cordova run as well.
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
Whenever you are running the app, Cordova space run space iOS.
That's okay.
Okay, build is for all, run is for not for all. So run is a specific platform you have to do.
Okay.
I'll show you how to run from command also. Okay, build success. Now go to platforms and iOS. Okay, some application this is.
Okay.
Some hotel application.
Okay.
Okay, so they had some screen like this and they click on the first screen. They are navigating for a page.
Okay.
Some app you terms and conditions. If I click on agree button, something is coming.
Okay.
Just a sample actually. The
Yeah.
navigating with the screens and all. Just a sample application. Okay. Okay. If I want to check this same application in Android,
Yeah.
Cordova space run space Android. Now it is looking for emulator,
Okay.
Android emulator. Waiting for emulator. It's not getting launched emulator. Or taking some time, I think.
we need to install any separate software for this, Srinivas, for the emulator?
Android,
Because
yeah.
we have the Xcode.
No. Xcode is not enough for Android.
Okay.
For Android, you have to go with Android installation. Again,
Okay.
everything different. Developer.android.com and so before build the application for Android, you have to go with this.
Okay.
Developer.android.com. So from this, you have to download a developer studio and download the
Okay.
developer studio.
Okay.
So we have to download this first.
Okay.
So download the latest version of Android Studio from this. So Android Studio, get Android Studio. So there is an option for download here. Download Android Studio properly and following the steps and all. So ready the Android Studio, then have to see actually Xcode having a simulators inbuilt. But Android Studio does not available with the emulators inbuilt. We have to install proper emulators inbuilt for this.
Okay.
Okay, so there is a different process available for Android installation. Not like iOS. iOS is very simple. Download and install. That's it.
Yes.
Download Xcode and open Xcode. Whenever you are downloading Xcode and installing, automatically everything will be there inside.
Yes.
But Android is different. So if you want, I will send some steps for installation of Android also for. Just follow the
Okay.
Android Studio installation.
Sure.
Okay, anyway, so just go with the folder. You have to go with the folder called platforms. You have to go with the folder called Android. Inside Android, there is a folder called build.
Right.
Inside the build, you have the folder called outputs. Inside outputs, you have the folder called APK. Inside this, you have the folder called, you have the file called Android debug APK.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the file actually we have to run in Android. You have Android device, anybody?
Yes, I have
Yes.
a phone.
Yes.
You have phone, right? So I'm sending now only.
So she has Android. I have Apple.
Okay, get your Android now.
Yeah, getting it. Yeah, I have the device.
Okay, open Gmail.
Yeah. Yes, I have it ready. I have it open.
Okay, so download file I sent now. Download and install.
Okay. Yeah, waiting for your email. Yeah, I got it. Srinivas is giving me two options: scan with lookout before install, and open with package installer.
Open with package install.
Yeah. It
It's a
says install blocked. For security, your phone is set to block installations of applications obtained from unknown sources. He's asking me, he's giving me two options: cancel and settings. I think I have to go to settings.
Yes.
Unknown sources. On. Okay. Yeah, install. Yeah, it's installing. Srinivas.
So once it is installed, you have the same output like this.
Yeah, we're opening it. It's installed. Yeah, we got your application on my phone.
Same like this.
Yes. Yeah.
Hotel.
Even it looks even on the phone.
Hotel
It's
seems
centered. Yeah.
Yes. See, Sampurna.
Yeah, all the buttons are in the center. Yeah.
Yeah,
correct.
it's very good on the phone.
Okay. So yeah, this is what writing code once and deploying into the many devices. No need to develop an application in different domains with a phone
Okay.
gap. With a phone gap, we can do that.
Okay.
Okay. So if you want to get a knowledge in phone gap, again, we have to go for separate sessions actually for that. So that is not
Okay.
included in our this iOS course. Phone gap is actually separate course we are dealing with. Okay. So
Okay.
maybe in future, if you require this phone gap course and all, you just contact me, no problem. Okay.
Sure.
Sure.
Sure, Srinivas. Yeah.
So this is the procedure of Cordova app development. So just follow
Okay.
this and try to do a simple sample applications with Cordova.
Okay.
So and try to write the code in www folder and try to build the app and iOS and Android and all. I'll provide the installation steps of Android also for you. Try to install
Okay.
Android in your machine
Okay.
and try to develop some basic application working with both devices, iOS and Android.
Sure, Srinivas. Yeah.
Sure.
So it's all today. We'll continue tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll have the databases in iOS SDK. We'll finish off with the databases. Maybe 1-2 days we'll take for databases. So once the database is finished, we will going to be finish off our sessions. Okay.
Okay, Srinivas. Sounds good.
Okay. So just follow this. Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Okay. Thank you, Srinivas.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.